We all know that a great start can make or break a race, but for so many of us, it's easily the most stressful part. So let's talk about how to flip that script and turn that starting line anxiety into a serious advantage.
And you're not alone if you feel that way. This quote actually comes from a really high-level sailor, Dan Self. And he openly admits he used to be just terrible at starting. Feeling timid, getting pushed around, and more often than not, just finding himself dead last right after the gun went off.
Does that feeling of being spat out the back ring a bell? Ugh, it's just the worst, isn't it? It's that moment where the race feels totally lost before it's even really begun. But what if we could actually change that for good? Well, the good news is a killer start isn't some kind of black magic or secret art. It's actually a formula made up of 3 very distinct skills that, believe it or not, anyone can practice and get really, really good at.
So let's define our terms. What are we even aiming for? What is a perfect start? It really boils down to 3 key things. 1. Hitting the line exactly when the gun goes. 2. Being at full speed when you do it. And 3. Having a nice, clean gap around you so you can actually sail your own race.
So, those 3 goals, they map directly to 3 core skills we need to build. First up, time on distance. That's all about your timing. Second, acceleration. That's for your speed. And third, positioning. That's how you get that tactical space. Now we're going to cover a specific drill for every single one. All right, let's dive into the first one. Drill number 1 is all about time on distance. This is where we develop that gut feeling, that internal clock that just knows exactly where you are in space and time relative to that starting line.
Think of this like your brain's own built-in GPS. It's that ability to just look at the line, feel the wind, see your speed, and really know, precisely how long it's going to take you to get there. That's the intuition we're trying to build.
So how in the world do you train an intuition? Well, turns out there's a fantastic, super simple, and incredibly effective drill for it called the long line start. Let me show you how it works. Okay, here's the game plan. You set a starting line that's so long you can't really use the ends for reference. Then you sail at it, full speed. The very instant, the microsecond you think your bow crosses that line, you shoot your hand up in the air. A coach, a buddy, in a power boat, even a GoPro can give you the feedback. Were you early, late, or did you nail it? You just do this over and over and over, and you'll build that crucial feel.
Okay, next up is drill number 2, pure acceleration. Because let's be honest, it's not enough to just be on the line on time. You have got to hit that line at full speed, already moving faster than the boats around you.
We're talking about the skill of going from basically a dead stop to full-on race speed in the absolute shortest amount of time and distance possible. The faster you can do this, the bigger your advantage. It lets you pounce on a gap that opens up and defend your spot like a hawk.
And the drill for this one?
Oh, it's beautiful. It's so simple. It's called the trigger pull, and it's all about creating explosive power on demand.
All you need is one single mark. A buoy, a flag, whatever. You hold your boat right next to it, basically dead in the water. Then, whenever you're ready, you pull the trigger. You trim everything in, you hike hard, you do whatever it takes to get to top speed as fast as possible. Once you're flying, look back. How far away are you from that mark? Okay, now go back and do it again and again. And your only goal is to make that distance shorter every single time.
And that brings us to our final piece of the puzzle, drill number 3. Owning your position. This is the tactical chess match part of the start. This is where you fight for and hold your spot on the line. Honestly, this is where races are so often won or lost in that chaotic final minute.
Now, what's really cool about practicing positioning is that you can do it in 2 different ways. You can work on it all by yourself, just trying to hold your boat perfectly still next to a mark. Or, for the real test, you can do it with other boats, creating that high-pressure, competitive environment. When you're solo, it's all about mastering the mechanics, right? Little tricks like double tacking, reversing with the main, just fine-tuning your boat control. But when you add other boats into the mix, oh man, that's when it gets real. You can fight one-on-one for a tiny spot next to a mark, or even better, set up a starting line that's way too short for everyone. The goal's always the same: learn the aggression and the finesse you need to create and defend your gap.
Okay, so we have our 3 drills. We have the individual skills. Now for the big question. How do we weave all of this together so it actually works when the pressure is on race day?
The secret here is all about integration. As you get closer to a big regatta, you need to be doing full-on practice starts. But now, you're not just practicing starts anymore. With every single countdown, you're consciously focusing on your time on distance, on your trigger pull, and on owning your position. See, when you break the start down into these little pieces and you drill them relentlessly, the whole process, it just starts to become automatic. It becomes second nature, and you'll find yourself doing it without even thinking about it, which frees up so much mental bandwidth to think about the bigger race strategy.
So, there you have it. That's the toolkit. 3 drills to completely master the physical techniques you need to go out there and just dominate the start line. You now have a process for being on time, at speed, and totally in control of your space. But let me leave you with one final and really crucial question. What if you do all this? You master these drills, you get great at them, but you still feel timid on the line? What if the biggest thing holding you back isn't your boat handling at all, but what's going on inside your head? Because, and this is so important, the mental game is a massive and often totally overlooked part of starting. Mastering these physical drills is the foundation, for sure, but building the confidence and the aggressive mindset to actually execute them under pressure, well, that's the final and maybe the most important piece of the entire puzzle.